then there would be disagreement concerning succession. When I gave this view 25 years ago, no one held this view. And if it is Salman, then I want to warn that as we move towards the Great War, there can be an effort to seduce Iran, and therefore to get Iran to walk into a trap. The trap for Iran would be a military strike, not meant to cripple Iran, not at all. Just a military strike that is meant to provoke Iran to retaliate. And the trap would be to get Iran to retaliate by taking Bahrain. And there should be nothing to stop Iran from taking Bahrain. Bahrain is easy pickings for Iran. Iran is a formidable military power. And neither would NATO, nor would even Saudi Arabia intervene to save Bahrain, because it's a trap. And if Iran walks into the trap, then as soon as a military strike is launched against Iran, by whoever launches it, Iran's first response would be, or one of the first responses of Iran would be, to take Bahrain, to occupy Bahrain. If Iran does that, then the stage would be set for the trapdoor to be closed on Iran. Because from Bahrain, the road will be clear to Medina and Mecca. Medina, because from Medina, Imam will emerge and he will hurry to Mecca. And the hadith of Nabi Muhammad ﷺ is that a Khalifa would die. And when that Saudi king dies, then there would be disagreement concerning succession. When I gave this view 25 years ago, no one held this view. And if it is Salman, then as soon as Salman dies, what's going to happen? Muhammad bin Salman will then be crowned as king. And when he is crowned as king, I believe all hell will break loose. That's the expression that British people have. All hell will break loose. And you then see intense disagreement within the Saudi royal family. Civil war within the Saudi royal family when Muhammad bin Salman takes over as king. How long will the disagreement last? We don't know. I don't know. But it is during this period of intense disagreement, during this period, that the Imam will emerge from Medina and hurry to Mecca. And when he reaches to Mecca, the people would force him to accept the bay'ah at the Kaaba. And he would then proclaim himself to be the Imam. So how would we know whether this is the authentic Imam or this is the Mossad Imam? This is what Iran has to be careful about. This is the trap being launched for Iran. How can you distinguish whether this is the real Imam or this is the Mossad Imam? They have created him and they have fashioned him and they've powdered him and everything and then set him loose. If Iran were to ever to take Bahrain, then the trap would be to get Iran to launch a military strike towards Mecca and Medina. And that is what they want.